I want to, you guys are all very seasoned retreatants, so I probably don't need to go into this, but just in case there's still a piece of consciousness that's hanging out in, woundedness around connotations for the, and vocabulary for the word for the great mystery, which we don't have a word for and can never have a word for and can never be languaged, but we do language it. And throughout this retreat, you know, as you all are well aware, if I could pick a favorite, it would be love, because that's how it is made known here. Love, uncaused. Just take a moment. It's not in position or opposition to anything else. There's no relationship there. There's no subject, object, there's no love. It's not the same kind of love that's in opposition to fear. That's something else. That's not what I'm speaking about. Uncaused, unqualified, uncreated, as is love. But there'll be other words, because I'm going to be bringing Joel Goldsmith into our retreat. And he uses the word God, which, I'll be honest, if you told me that I was going to be sitting in front of a group of people using that word, you know, 20 years ago, I had resistance to that word. I certainly don't now. Source, the ground of being, true nature, Buddha nature, the great mystery. So I hope that will give pause for consideration and contemplation rather than opposition and positioning. If you happen to hear a word during retreat that sets you off, how ripe is that? Very ripe, very fertile ground. We come to, well, here's another word for it. Silence, stillness, not in relationship to sound and quietness, and silence that's not dependent on an absence. Presence, stillness that is. What I find here and in speaking with people who are interested in this kind of thing, who are drawn, who are called, that's the better word, who are called to a retreat called Thunder of Silence, is that the conditioned patterns and habits of mind and the believer and the separate sense, it's almost like uncomfortable as it is, it's comfortable in its familiarity. And so when things get going, something flat, there's space enough in the quietness and togetherness that we're all going to create together. And something comes in, something comes through that spaciousness. There is and I know I'm, really preaching to the choir here, but there's such a deep conditioned response to position oneself in relationship to whatever's happening. As an I, as a me, as a redeemer, a healer, a spiritual person, a meditator, a method follower, all kinds of things that used to work. They used to work, and they've been helpful and developmental. But what I'm just going to really encourage and ask for is to see what it's like to have something come in, anything, the sound of a bird or a deep memory or the sun shining in the window or extreme pain in the body or, some kind of coming and going, some kind of sensory coming and going. What is it? What is the experience if it's not, if it's free? If it's free of conditions, free of needing to be something else, free of definitions, free of categories, free of identification. If there's nobody there positioning themselves in relationship to whatever it is, what is it? And how does it behave? I'm just jumping right into it tonight, because why not? The thunder of silence. Really, I thought, okay, thank you, thanks be to God. Let's do it. I had a beautiful question that comes right into this about somebody left it in the basket. I love that, first day. Thank you. So the experiencer is an element of identity. So as identity slips away, so does the experiencer? Question mark? Yes. Yes. Experience is not predicated on an experiencer. Find out. Experiencingness, and you basically would never even call it that without the experiencer, but we have to talk. Experiencingness happens, you might say, like a flash of lightning in a clear sky. In a vacuum. In a no-thingness. Which to our personal selves, this just sounds, so some of us at the pre-retreat get together, we're like, hard sell. Why even go there? Why talk about it? But please hear me. What is illuminated here, the view, the condition, I don't know what you would call it, that eradicated the believer, eradicated the believer, is love. It's love. No opposite. No conditions. And all of the rest is a dream. It's a light and shadow dream. A light and shadow dream. And many of you might actually go, oh yeah, I know that. I remember being a very small child. I don't know when it would have been. I mean, my bedroom was upstairs in the house, and I think my bedroom moved upstairs when maybe I was 4. I don't really, but small child, before school. And having the realization that the dream, this dream of this and that, and me and that, was a dream. It was a dream, and the center of the dream was the dreamer, and the dreamer was, how to say, that which knows itself through and as expression. But there had been like a filter. It was still new enough in the incarnation or whatever. I think some of you might know what I'm speaking about, have memories. It was still new enough to realize, wow, that's a dream. That's a dream, just like a dream in the night. When you wake up and you go, whoa, that was a weird dream. The geometry, you might say, of this dream is dualism. That's the geometry of it. So bear with me. Like, say, the nature of Source is moving as love. As close as I can come. And let's say it's a waterfall, like Niagara Falls, you know, the power, the thunder of silence, the power of that which animates. A waterfall. And it's put through a very fine sieve, a very fine screen that has a certain geometry. And so all of that power goes through this and comes out on the other side as whatever it's been filtered through. That's the geometry of the world, you might say, the appearance. The levels of consciousness are the filters, let's say, the shape makers. The shape makers. And we're all very dedicated, not as a failure in any way, not as a failure, just as a habit, to the shape of war, this and that, good and evil. And there'll be enough good someday to overcome the evil that also has power. It's just we're going to bang our heads on that wall till the end of time. Then there'll be what? The bigger evil? That actually we've given power to something called evil, to something called badness, to something called shadow and darkness. We've given power to it. And then our little, oh God, our little powerless personality has to come up with like more power of goodness by going to like a lot of retreats and hanging out with the right teachers and taking the right substances at the right time, and then we'll get enough good by God to like, you guys, that's not the dream of Source. That's like the shape of the dualistic filter that love is unconditionally animating, because that's love. Love is not like a rewarder or a decider or I'm going to put them all on an outward bound program and make them really earn this shit. No. It's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. Boy, we've convinced ourselves. Even in deep, deep, deep realization, the spell, the trance of unworthiness and separateness is, and we can find, boy, just Google it, just Google the next, and God bless all human beings and teachers and students, and I'm not here to judge, but the next teacher that's going to convince us that if we can just get to a certain level, a certain this, a certain that, a certain, we'll I don't know, we'll ascend or something. I don't know. So yes, the only way is through. I'm not talking about denial. This is so tricky. I find it very tricky. I'm sure there's very skilled teachers out there. I find it very tricky because in the day and age of bypassing, what I'm talking about sounds exactly the same. And I'm not talking about bypassing. Anybody who knows anything about my personal life knows I'm not talking about bypassing. I'm not talking about bypassing. I'm not talking about sitting in some sort of enshrined upper throne room in the crown chakra with no, no. But hear me. What are you going to walk through as? Yes, you're going to go through. Absolutely, you're going to go through. There's no other choice. Try to stop the moment. Try it. You're not stopping the moment. There's no such thing. You are going through. But what are you going through as? Because if you're going through as a better person than you used to be, a person, it's okay, but it is a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid.